Hello, I'm Jamie Milne, Ambassador for Glenfiddich in the UK, and welcome to Glenfiddich Distillery here in Dufftown in the heart of Speyside. The story of Glenfiddich and our founder William Grant is a story of ambition and patience, of tradition and innovation, a story of vision, the ability to see beyond the obvious and take the road less travelled. So let's go and have a closer look. William Grant was born in Dufftown in 1839, and he took a job at Mortlach, Dufftown's first distillery, at the age of 24. It was there that his passion for the art of whisky making really began to grow, and his dream of making the best dram in the valley took shape. Little did he know that it would be another 24 years before that dream would become a reality. And so in the summer of 1886 he began to build his distillery with help from his 7 sons and 2 daughters. And on Christmas Day 1887, the very, very first drops of spirit flowed from the stills. William named his distillery Glenfiddich. That's Gaelic for Valley of the Deer. And that's why we use the stag on our bottles. Talking of the bottle, I reckon I could take the label off this bottle and you'd still know this was a bottle of 12-year-old Glenfiddich. It's an iconic green triangular bottle, and the 3 sides are said to represent the 3 ingredients that go into making our whisky: water, barley and yeast. The buildings around us here are the original malt barns and warehouse built by William Grant and his family over 125 years ago. These buildings are still standing strong, and 125 years later, Glenfiddich is still independent and family owned. And it's because we're family owned that we maintain traditional ways of making whisky. We use water from our own Robbie Dew spring. We have wooden washbacks for fermentation. We have our own cooperage on site. We're one of the few distilleries to do that. And we also use traditional wooden marrying tuns for marrying the whisky after maturation. Every single stage of production and every single person involved in making Glenfiddich is absolutely dedicated to quality. And that's why Glenfiddich is the world's most awarded range of single malt Scotch whisky. But the family also encourage us to be innovative with how we make our whisky. So let's head up to Warehouse 8 and take a look at one of the most innovative single malt Scotch whiskies available on the market today. This is Warehouse 8, home to some of our most rare and precious casks. Some of these casks might be bottled as single-year vintages, and some of them may end up in 40-year-old or even 50-year-old Glenfiddich, which retails for around £15,000 a bottle. It's also where we keep our Solera vat, the only one of its kind in the whole Scotch whisky industry. Now, most Scotch whiskies are matured in 2 types of casks, but for Glenfiddich 15-year-old, we've introduced a 3rd type of cask. So what you have are casks that have previously held sherry, casks that have previously held bourbon, but this 3rd type of cask is virgin American oak. It's never held anything else before. So when the whisky's been in these 3 types of casks for 15 years, we take the whisky out and we put it into our Solera vat, which holds about 38,000 litres. Now the Solera vat was built and filled with 15-year-old Glenfiddich in 1998, and we never empty it. It's always kept at least half full. We then top it up again using the whisky from those 3 types of casks: sherry casks, bourbon casks and virgin American oak. And that's what makes this unique. It gives it a huge depth and complexity. It means that every single bottle and every single glass of Glenfiddich 15-year-old contains some of that original batch from 1998. That's why this wins the Top Whisky Award every single year. Sláinte.